Hey, good day, everybody. We got another Hot Topic Tuesday. It is now October. We've entered the last quarter of 2023, and today it gets us thinking and planning for 2024. And one of the ways we got to think is what do we do to be able to continue to build our business? Or even many of us have to consider rebuilding. So with that, we got to think about what are all the ways to build business, and we know one of those is what we've termed being actively passive in regards to building your business. So today we've got West District Manager Mr. Jeremy Wolfram. Not everybody knows, but he was actually VP of Marketing for some big firms. And I was talking with him last week. I said, we've never taken advantage of your background. So he's going to be very succinct today and brought on a couple of special guests to help him out. So, Jeremy Wolfram.
Okay. Well, like Darwin said, we're in business planning season. So part of that is your marketing planning. As Darwin mentioned, I used to work in national advertising. And what I'm going to take you through are 7 steps that your Ford Motor Companies would go through when they're getting ready to launch a vehicle. American Express, these were some of the clients I worked with. And then at the end of this, I brought on Jason and Matt, and they're going to kind of give you guys a little insight into maybe where the best places and methods are where you get the best ROI for your investment. Because that's what this is. This is an investment in your business. So to start it off, step one, you got to sit down and do a little bit of research and start identifying who your audience is that you want to reach. Um, I asked this to some of my agents up in Midland when we've done stuff in the past. First time home buyers in Michigan is not an acceptable one. You really have to narrow it down. You'll see this was the same we kind of had, which is you want a rifle approach, which if you're into hunting or shooting, if you're not, I apologize, but a rifle is one shot, you're aiming for a target. A shotgun approach is where you shoot and little BBs go flying all over the place and you hope to God you hit the target. For what you want to do, you really want a rifle approach. You want to be able to hone in on who you're going for, age, gender, income, pains, desires. Pains would be, the cost of, interest rates. So things like that, desires, neighborhoods, things of that nature. So, I think Phil Cini talked about this back at Ignite last year, is that he markets almost exclusively, it seems, to the Glaciers golf course. He took his time, he sat down, he figured out what he wanted to do, where he wanted to target. He made it very direct. That's what you're looking for. So that's step one. Um, a lot of this stuff you can find just with basic Google searches. So it's not that hard, but I'm sure Jason and Matt can also help direct you as to where to find some of that information. Step two, this is all about you now. The one thing that really shocks me when I talk to a lot of agents is what makes you different from all the other agents that are currently out there. I think we all know there's a lot of real estate agents floating around these days. So, what makes you different? Because that's part of your key messaging to these people. Um, if you don't understand what makes you different, you're definitely not going to, give off that vibe in your advertising. So, make sure whatever you're doing, you know exactly what your value proposition is for your client. Step three, your marketing message. Keep it consistent. If you're going to sell homes in the Glacier Club, keep it consistent to that. Doesn't mean you can't do little one offs and do stuff here and there, but for your basic messaging, it needs to be consistent. I think further down in the slides, it's also continuous. The average person doesn't realize what you're trying to say to them. I think it's 8 to 10 touches now before they really start getting it in their head what you are trying to tell them. So it's consistency and keeping it going over a long period of time. I see too many agents send out a mailer, send out postcards, or put up a Facebook ad or something like that, And because they don't get a lead off of that one, they go back through and change everything back up again. That is not going to help you at all. It's got to be consistent and it's got to be continual. Step 4, your marketing budget. This is usually where people gasp and half faint. 10% of your commission income is what you should be reinvesting back into your business for marketing, advertising, and things of that nature. It may come down a little bit. You may not spend that much if you're into social media advertising where the cost is maybe a little more reasonable. Maybe you can drop it down to 8%. I probably wouldn't go any lower than 8 though. I would keep it between 8 and 10, and you can always go higher if you want to. But for effectiveness, you need to be able to put that kind of money back into yourself. Choosing the right marketing channels. This is a big one. This is where Matt and Jason are going to step in a little bit to kind of show you what some of those channels are. So make sure you're taking good notes there, and I'll update this slide and send this back out to everybody once they've done what they do. This is the big one for agents. As someone who views a lot of files, and on your broker requirements where it checks off, how did you, where'd you get this person? Is it a sphere? Or, how do you know this person? This one is the one I think agents don't do on a very consistent basis and don't really know where that lead comes from. This is going to help you track if the money you're spending is actually doing anything. At any one time, you should have 5 different lead sources coming into you. Obviously, SOI would be the first one, or should be your first one. And from there, you should have 4 others to fill in. Well, if you're advertising on Facebook for a year and nothing's coming in, why are you still paying into Facebook? And I'm only using them as an example. Doesn't mean don't go with Facebook. But what I'm saying is create a spreadsheet, start tracking this. When people call you, part of your talking to them should include a question of, how did you hear about me? Was it through one of my signs? That's a lead source if you put signs out because you have listings. Is it Facebook advertising? Is it a mailer? Is it postcards? Just listed, just sold? Start keeping track of that, because that will give you a better indicator of what is working with the money you're spending. Then that way, maybe after 6 months, you take a look at that sheet and go, okay, I'm dumping a lot of money into this one thing and it's not paying any dividends, but these other 3 are. Maybe you make a, pivot at the 6-month mark and change up your marketing strategy a little bit. And the big one is execute your plan and stick with it. Like I said before, on average, it takes about 8 to 10 touches before the consumer actually gets the message you are trying to preach. Always try to promote to everybody I talk to. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. You need to be planning out. I always tell people to plan out for a year for your marketing, obviously knowing that things will change here and there throughout that time frame. But if you at least do 90 to 100 days out, you should be okay, and you can switch it up every 3 months, but you should always be constantly tracking, looking at what you're doing. This should almost be right up there with you checking in your CRM and stuff like that. It's, how is my marketing working for me? How is the analytics of all this stuff, the metrics and all that, how is it working? So you really have to take the time to dive into the marketing you're doing and making sure it's working for what you're trying to accomplish. So like I said, it's 7 steps. It's not that difficult. It is time consuming. But the thing, out of all this, I would definitely say number 7 is the biggest part of it. It's just, you got to stick with it and be consistent. You can't knee jerk, and just because something didn't work the first 3 or 4 times you send it out. I know I talked to Jason and Matt, and I think they have an example coming out where somebody had that happen to them, and it was the 5th or 6th mailer that just started clicking them. So it's constant consistency, keeping it going. And like I said, always checking your numbers to make sure where you're dumping your money is actually paying dividends for you and you're getting that return on investment. So with that said, Matt and Jason, Why don't you guys show them some of the stuff that they can, look into? I know marketing service does some stuff for some people, but there's some other stuff out there that maybe these agents would like to use.
Yes, of course. I actually me and Jason got together last week and came up with our 5 best marketing strategies that we would recommend to realtors. Maybe not 5 best, but 5 essentials to really make sure that you're consistent across the board and getting your messaging and your listings in view to everybody. So I'm going to share my screen here just to show a little bit of what we put together. Want to make sure, can everyone see this?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So the number one for marketing strategies is social media and your digital presence. So this is the most economical platform to be seen and create awareness. Most of the time it's organic. It doesn't cost any money to have a Facebook account or an Instagram or a LinkedIn. So this is just your core essentials of how people can see you and see what you're up to. So you really want to be consistent with this, and you want to post. We recommend Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as your top 3. Most people, they see, TikTok and Twitter, but it's really hard to localize the marketing on those platforms because it really reaches too broad of an audience. You're not seeing your community. It's really hard for people to reach you from there. So
And
we would
that's not-
recommend.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not to say not to do that. It's always good to have as much exposure as you can. But if you're dealing with TikTok or any of those others, just be prepared to do more reels. That's what people want to see on those platforms, is more of video content of you just maybe giving out advice or just day-to-day things.
Yeah, selfie style. You got to be prepared to be on camera if you're using TikTok because it's all short form video. And what really works on there is selfie style, or maybe a short walkthrough of your listing. Things like that really work for TikTok. And also Facebook and Instagram are trying to emerge in that short form content with their reels and stories. So you can also post on there to really get your listings. People are going to see them a lot more on reels and stories because most of the time when you open up your social media, you're tapping through the reels or stories when you have some free time. When you have more time, you're scrolling through the main
Right.
feed and
what will
seeing
happen
things like
is
that.
hopefully when people see the reels or stories, they're made up or set up to be real quick little things to grab their attention. And if it grabs their attention, hopefully that will lead them to your main page on your Facebook or your Instagram, and they can read more in detail about what listings you have opening or what information that you're trying to share.
And the information you share is also really important. You don't want to overbear people with spam and things that they're not going to want to pay attention to. So you just want to create a good balance of content. Don't keep it just blogs every single post. You really want to mix it up and keep people interested in what you're going to post. And another thing you can do as well is share things about your neighborhood. So people want to know, especially as a realtor, what's going on in your community, whether it be a community fair, any sort of sponsored events that you're participating in. It's good to share this across your social media so people are informed of what you're doing.
Or it's even just giving a shout out, like if you're going out to dinner that evening, just giving the shout out to the restaurant that you're going to. It just makes a connection to your audience. Like,
It
hey, I love that
humanizes you.
place too. Yeah.
People don't want to
So
think you're just a corporate zombie. They want to know you're a human and that they can relate to you. A big trend in social media is animated and movement in the social media. So say you only have pictures of your listing, a good way to showcase that listing in a unique way is by animating it and making sort of a showcase of that property. So it's a slideshow of the property. You might add some specific information about the property that pops up during the video, and just it keeps it refreshed. And the thing about animation is it really just keeps your attention, so you don't just scroll right past it like a static image. The movement really makes you drawn in and want to view more of it, and that keeps that retention and view time up on all your videos.
And then, of course, you want to also just make sure that your social media is getting constantly updated with your important stuff that you want out there, like your listings on your social media, like price adjustments, open houses. If maybe it's something that's been sitting on the market too long, and you don't think it's capturing as much attention as you want, repost it, make something else up. Another thing to do is to make sure that you're also updating what you pin on your Facebook. There's a little feature on your Facebook that's called, it's actually featured, and that's your pinned posts that you put in there. It's that little 3-dot button that's on the Facebook page. You just hit that and then put pin to the top, and that'll keep that up there as long as you want. And then just constantly refresh it. We had somebody the other day that was saying, why are my features on there from 4 years ago? And that's because they didn't update their pinned Facebook posts.
And a good thing about the pinned posts is when they go right to your Facebook page, that's the first post that they're going to see. So it really drives traffic to whatever you have pinned. Moving next, aside from social media and your digital presence, we really recommend targeted mailers. So this is the biggest return on investment that we see across the board on any marketing strategy. It's the tried and true method. It works. The thing about targeted mailers is you don't want to do a method where you're shooting out to many different neighborhoods at once. You want to pick a specific neighborhood that you're an expert, or maybe that you live in, and that's the neighborhood you really want to rail down on, because the more you know about your neighborhood, the more information you'll be able to give to your clients, and more knowledge you're going to be able to leverage to get business for your real estate.
Right. And then that also allows you to be the expert of that certain area. Again, like Jeremy was saying, really pinpoint like your specific age group that you're looking for, the demographics, the average price in that area. Really know who your audience is, and then you can tailor all your marketing around that and really go after them.
And you can use
And
those demographics to have a specific message in mind when you send out your mailing. So this might be, if you live in a condo community, you can give information about the different condos sold in your area, different things about the HOA rules. It's really good just to keep people informed with the news, market updates, and trends, and that just, it makes your mail not junk mail, really. You want to become informative and give them a reason to not throw it away.
And then again, with what Jeremy was saying earlier, it's all about staying consistent and really beating them down with your branding, so that everything looks the same, everything looks like it's coming from you. And again, that 8 to 10 touches is really important. It goes with not even just marketing, it's just visually. You need to do something 8 times to remember it. So to see it and feel it and see your face and see your logo, maybe some kind of marketing that you do that's specific towards you, that puts you ahead of everybody else. That's how they're going to remember you, is because you're consistent and it looks the same, it feels the same, and the message is the same. That's how you're going to start getting more calls for listing appointments. And Matt can tell you one of his success stories recently.
Yeah, a good testament to the targeted mailers and the consistency that you need to put in order to get return on investment is Barbara Boucher. She started off sending out alternate mail outs between letters and postcards, and after around the third or fourth month, she consistently got 2 listing appointments and 1 to 2 listings from each mailing that she sends out currently. So that consistency really paid off in the end, and people really recognized her expertise in the community and her effort that she put into these mailings. A good thing that Barbara Boucher uses in her mailings is she personalizes each one, so every mailing looks like she wrote down their address, hand stamped it, everything's folded. It looks like it came from her, and it's not just something like advertisement that they just throw in the trash. It's a personalized letter that goes directly to them, and clients really empathize with that, and it really gets her a lot of listings from that. And that moves us to their third strategy that we would recommend is our local community engagement. So this is just making sure that your Google business page is optimized. So that's just logging into your Google account and making sure that when people Google your name, that your business page is popping up in the right hand corner, and it's updated with your relevant picture and all your contact information. So this is the biggest thing I would recommend. A lot of realtors just have the company or the office, but to put yourself apart from the office and get people calling directly to you, you want to make sure that you have your own business page and everything is updated. Apart from your Google business page in the local community, you want to make sure that the content that you create across all your marketing is specific to the neighborhoods that you're active in. So you don't want to advertise about broader real estate market in the nation when most of the time people want to know their local area, what's going on. And as you know, things change from area to area. So there's really not a blanket stat that can apply to that area. So you want to make sure you know what's going on in your neighborhood and your local community. So know how many listings are going on and share that with your community across your social media. Another thing is you can partner with local businesses for collaboration, and a good thing we see is sponsoring local sports teams. This just gets your name out there in the community, and as we said earlier, it takes 6 to 10 times for people to see your name and face for them to recognize you and potentially have a lead. Jason,
That
you want
leads
to add
us.
anything?
Yeah, no, I was just going to go to the number 4. That just goes to number 4, the importance of video and photos. I know that like sometimes we're on a budget and we're doing our photos ourselves. Just be conscious of the lighting. It makes a huge difference in the lighting, the direction in which you're taking the photos. Sometimes we're doing them vertical or horizontal, and we need to make sure that we're understanding what platform these photos are for. If we put a MLS photo that is vertical, it's gonna come out looking different than what the actual photo looks like. It's gonna cut out the top and the bottom.
And the
When we
websites
do
that
our
pull from the
videos,
MLS might skew that and change it as well. So it needs to be consistent, the same size for all the photos.
right, even if it's a tight space, still do it in the direction in which you're wanting the format to do. If you're doing like a live feed or if you're doing a story, that's when you want to do the vertical shots, just to optimize the because most people are viewing that on their cell phone. So you want to make sure that they're getting that optimal space on the screen, so everything looks large and it's not something they can't even see or they gotta really um, squint their eyes to look at. And then I don't know, Matt, you can talk about the high end video and
Yeah, of course. So as you know, our offices are starting to get video and photo studios that people can shoot videos, and this is a great opportunity for people to start doing video testimonials. And if your clients are comfortable with it, having them on camera and talking to them, and asking them questions about your business, and just having them give a testimonial about the whole process, and that can really just humanize and give people uh, a good view into how you conduct your real estate. Another way to show you is have some live stream question and answers. So if you have a community on Facebook and you have a lot of people asking questions about business or DMing you, a good opportunity is just to start a live up and have people ask questions and answer. And this really just branches out apart from the competition. You don't see a lot of people doing live streams and engaging with their community. So doing that really just puts you apart from other people. Those are more organic ways you can invest in video and photo. It's not very costly, but if you're looking to divert some of your budget from your commission into more of your business, I would recommend getting high quality photography and branded drone video and walkthroughs. So video is really becoming trending. People like the video walkthroughs of the home. It really gives a view of what the home is. People want to know how it is to live in the home. So how do you capture that more than a video walkthrough? It's really the best way to do it. Or 360 cameras have come in to play with the Matterport, and you can do virtual walk tours uploaded onto Zillow or other MLS sites, allowing
and
people
clients
to.
are getting a little more educated where they're catching on to Photoshop. And I mean, how many times is it so disappointing when you go into a home and you feel like you're catfished by the house? It's harder to do that with video. So they're seeing the actual home for what it is versus a doctored up photo that makes it look really nice. And then they go in and it's something completely different.
Transparency is key, and really make sure you get motivated buyers who actually want the home and aren't coming in for a tour, and you're getting a lot of empty leads from that. The last thing is consistency and utilization of company tools. So you want to make sure you're creating branding across all your channels, that it's the same. So you don't want to have messaging across one channel and then have it different across the other. So say you don't want to be looking for like first time buyers on one channel and then be going to more of a senior community for the next. You want to be consistent with one expertise, and that allows you to be, you want to be reputable in your specific messaging, and don't give
And then,
up as well.
yeah, just like Jeremy was saying, it's so important not to give up. And I know it's easy to because it's hard to see the return on investment, especially in sales and marketing. And it's one of those things, like you said, it's more of a marathon than a sprint, and you just got to be really patient with it and really hit it hard constantly.
Yeah, most marketing strategies take time, but ultimately they pay off in the end, and they pay for the marketing strategy that you're using plus a lot more. So for example, you spend money on a sponsorship for a sign at a local baseball stadium, and you get a call from that one listing pays for that entire sponsorship that you just created. So it's really just knowing that the more money you put into yourself, the more benefit you're going to get in return. And
So
that's why
guys,
you see big companies like Amazon, they invest all the money they make pretty much into themselves, and that's why they become #1 company in the world.
I see we are at 12:30. There is one question in chat. What about hashtags? How many and what's the best use?
Hashtags, they're constantly changing and varying their algorithms. Um, Best way to do that, Matt, what is the maximum? Is it 10 that Facebook?
Maximum, it used to be 30. Um, I'm not sure if that's changed. It's different from platform to platform, but we recommend using 5 to 6 hashtags at max for each post. Most of the time, they take from hashtag and keywords of your caption. So it's not just the hashtags that allow your content to be searchable. So just know that too much hashtags just makes the content look spammy. So just keep it
Right.
between 3 to 6, we recommend.
And definitely include like your targeted area, your company, and of course what you're doing or what your message is trying to portray. Like if it's a just listed or just sold or price improvement, it could be a just listed in XYZ county or city, township, anything like that.
New home. A good way to find out hashtags is to use AI. That's a new technology that's blowing away right now. Chat GPT is probably the biggest one. You can create a free account and just ask for the top 5 best hashtags you can use for this post that I'm creating, and then you list a description of your post, and it'll give you your top 5 hashtags that you could use.
Fantastic. So guys, how would somebody get a hold of you if they'd like to find out about what you guys do and how they could work with you?
You
Sure.
guys can reach out to us at marketing department at c21tcemail.com. We'll leave that in the chat as well, just for people to contact us. You can also contact us through our phone number, which we'll also leave in there. Before we go, we wanted to give a quick sneak peek at our new marketing tiers that we're going to be announcing at Ignite. So I just want to show everybody just a sneak peek of kind of some new services that we're going to be offering for you.
Yeah, basically what we've been doing is asking agents, how can we improve upon our marketing program? And it's more or less like the one size fits all concept is not going to do it anymore. So we're coming out with tiers. We don't have all the specifics yet. One thing that we can for sure say is we're going to come out with an a la carte branding package. So if you need help with your logo, if you need help with your letterhead, email signature, your business card designs, all that is included in a branding package, and it's not a commitment. It's just kind of like a one-time fee service for getting your branding together. So that is one thing that we are excited about.
So you'll be learning lots more. Remember, Ignite is coming up in November 8th. It will be at the Courtyard Marriott in Troy / Pontiac / Auburn Hills. It is right off 75 on Opdyke Road. So know that will be there. Guys, I'm going to run it from there, wrap up the day, and we'll plan to see everybody again next Tuesday. And guys, let's go out and talk to people, get some business, find those listings. Have a great one, everybody.
Thank you.